Right, okay, I was asked to do a quick review of the slightly modified version of creating a page in Mahara, which has actually changed over the summer, and I haven't really had a look at it since then. In Blackboard, just click on Portfolio or just search in a well-known search engine for Teesside University Mahara, and this will open up. Start Mahara, and it'll log you in with your usual university credentials. Right, so over here we've got the three lines, which are generally these days the settings menu. We're going to click on Create. We're going to click on Create either pages or collections. Now, a collection is a group of pages. It's got a list here of various pages I have. There's more than this. We're going to click on Add. And it's saying, do you want a collection or a page? As I mentioned, a collection is a group of pages. So we'll just start off with creating a page. Right, it pops up with this dialogue. So it's called Untitled at the moment. So we're going to call this test page. A test page. And give it a short description. It doesn't need to be in detail, this. Just a page. Okay, you can add type terms, search terms if you want. When you tried this in the room, it didn't work, did it? So let's just try food. Adding food here. So we'll call it food and nutrition issues. Right, now there's a number of drop downs here, some which are more useful than others. One which is advanced. If you go down here, the one thing you probably want is to set up display name, so it's first name then surname. Probably a sensible thing to do. Nothing else you probably want there. In layout, at the moment it's set for 3 columns, which I think is a little bit excessive. Normally set mine up in 2 columns, but you can come back and edit this later anyway. But for now, we'll set it up with each row has 2 columns. You create all new sorts of layouts, and there's different skins you can apply as well, which, to be honest, I haven't had a look at, but you might want to have a play yourselves. Okay, so we'll save that. I had a little chunk to myself, and it takes us to the place where we can start adding information. There's a series of things we can add down here. First thing we're going to do is add a text. I just add a block of text, basically. So it's asking us, do we want it to the left or do we want it to the right? We'll put it to the right, and we'll click on Add. So I'm going to call this text 1. And as we just messed about a bit here, we'll just call this text 1. Notice if you drop down this, you can get a whole range of formatting options. You can set it to be retractable, that's to say it can be hidden away, or it's visible all of the time, or you can have it automatically retract. For a text box, unless it's a lot of information, I recommend you just leave that to no. Well, click on OK. Right, so I've added text number 1. And again, if you want to go in and edit things, it's very simple. Simple edit. As my inability to spell while I'm reaching over the microphone. Click on save, and instead it did that. Now, so we're going to add another text block here, and this will give us a choice of where we want to put it. We can put it after the first one we put in, or we can put it after the second one. What we're going to do is just put it after next to the first one. So click on Add. Text 2. I'll call this Test 2. Just for a bit of information, we'll make that a little bit bigger. I'll come back a little bit later on and show you how to add URLs as well. Okay, so we'll just save that. Right, that appears now there. So the next thing you probably want to go and think about is adding an image. So we can decide where we want to put it. We're going to after the first one, after the second one. We're going to put it, I think, after the second one. So after 2. I click on Add, and this little dialog will appear. Now we've got to go and find it now. When you have a bunch of files and including images, it will produce a list for you of ones you already have. But for the moment, we just want to do a browse. So I'm going to do a browse in my Dropbox. My Dropbox is for food photos. I didn't really much want to pick one of Andy's trailers. That's what we'll pick. Let's have a little chunk to do itself. It's quite a big file. Right, so do we want a description? You may want a description, you may not want a description. Do you want it to be retractable? We don't. Click on Save. It'll chunk to itself, and there's a nice picture of the trailer. Now I'll put it there, but if you wanted to, you could just pick it up and move it there. All of these can be moved around. Okay, so what else have we got? You can add files. They will appear as files. So if you upload a Word file, for example, it will just be a little icon which people can click on to access the file. You can add an image gallery, so you can add more than one image. You can add embedded media, which is like videos, but not quite as easy to handle, so don't worry about that too much. We can add PDFs, which are quite useful, so you can scan up and down in PDFs. There's other stuff which you might want to look at, but probably the one you're most going to want to use is external. So external media would include things like YouTube videos. So again, if you put this one after 2, click on add. I'm just going to pause the video for a second while I find a video. I'll be back in a second. Right, okay, I've been into YouTube and I've found my Jenny Ridgewell to Excel video. What I've done is I've gone to share and I've copied the share link. Okay, so we go back to here. What do I add a video? So we go over here to external media. We're going to have after 2 and we're going to add this. Now it's asking for a URL and an embed code. The URL is just what I've copied there. So we'll call this GR to Excel. Yeah, to Excel. You can set the height and the width if you want, or if not, Mahara will do it for you. You know, tags again, you can make it retractable or not retractable. We click on save, and after a moment it appears. Ready to play. Right, okay, so that's the editing page. Now if we click on display page, it will bring up the page as it will appear to any user. Which is quite nice. We can go back to edit again by clicking on the pencil, as you might expect. And then the next thing we want to look at is share. This is very important. Now at the moment it's set to be shared with no one. You could set it to share friends. I wouldn't set it to share Teesside University or everyone in the public. You can set it to share various groups. I'm a member of a large number of groups, as you can see. You set it to share with friends. You can send links. Another thing you can do is create what's called a secret URL, which is a rather bizarre term, because what it does is create a URL link which you can then share with people outside the university. They can't edit your page, they can only look at it. So that's something to bear in mind. At the moment I'm just going to leave the share options as they are, which at the moment is shared with no one basically. By default it's shared with no one, and you should think carefully about sharing and who you're going to share it with. We'll talk about this a little bit more in tutorials and other sessions. So I'm just going to cancel that. Right, so it's now taking me back to this my page list, and there's the one I've just created. And there it is. Right, hope that was useful. Bye-bye.